Our next guest is an Emmy-winning journalist and MSNBC's chief legal correspondent. He hosts The Beat weekdays at 6 p.m. on MSNBC. Please welcome back to the show our friend Ari Melber, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for making time. I know you have a show tonight. I have a question. Being a guy who went to law school, being a guy who's a legal analyst for a network like MSNBC, do people come to you all the time for legal advice?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's always like, here's the problem, what should I do? And you have to say under the bar rules, whatever I say to you is not legal advice. And then people are like, why are you being so formal?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bar rule that
That's
you
a
can
bar
admit.
rule.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because you don't want someone walking away if you say, don't worry about it, and then they think they got actual legal advice, which at a party you probably didn't.
Right. And that's the thing you probably say most. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Hey, so I want to ask you if they teach this in law school. Right now, Donald Trump has a civil trial here in New York City, and he has been attacking, lashing out at the judge pretty much every day. What do they tell you as a lawyer? Do they say it's good or bad to lash out at the judge?
So that's bad.
Yeah.
The only time that can work is if you're in a jury trial, like when you see Law and Order and you're looking to find that one sympathetic juror. And sometimes you will try to suggest that the whole thing, the court, the judge, is against the defendant. This is not a jury trial.
Right.
The judge will decide the penalty or how much they have to pay, so it's really dumb.
So this is equivalent to if he spent the whole time lashing out at the jury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because it's literally a judge-ruled trial.
Yeah. He has made the defense that all of his legal documents, his financial statements, at the very end of his financial statements, they had basically a clause that said, none of this is real. Like, do your own research, basically. Ignore everything that's been written ahead. I mean, that's his base. Is that a valid defense?
No, I love how you're following this very closely.
I am. I mean, I can't say I'm not enjoying it all.
So this is sort of a New York attempt at like a forget about it clause.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I know we agreed that it's this property in this neighborhood for this price, but none of that's real. It is true that in certain types of business, right, a car dealership, real estate, there's understood to be some spinning. There's even the legal word puffery, which means you knew if they said best neighborhood, what does that even mean?
Right.
But that doesn't allow you to just lie. And the best example, which you don't have to be from New York or a lawyer to know, is we have a neighborhood called Soho. A lot of people have heard of that.
Yep.
They built a hotel that Donald Trump used to own and was called Trump Soho.
Yes.
It wasn't in Soho.
It was not. And he just had it and couldn't be sued for it. Because it was, right? Like, that was fine. That's the puffery that's allowed, right?
Right. So you say, okay, it was adjacent. What makes the neighborhood versus he's also sold properties, according to the evidence, where they said it was this size.
Yeah.
And it was 80% of that size.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference, which is getting closer to contracting for, we agreed on a Porsche and a Honda shows up.
Yes.
And you say, you already paid me, well, this is fraud.
There you go. Now, another interesting thing that's happening in the criminal trials is a lot of Trump's lawyers have been charged. A lot of his lawyers, some of his lawyers have been convicted even. How rare is this? And when you're Donald Trump, how worried are you when people who used to be on your legal team are also facing, their own criminal charges?
So it's really rare and it's really bad. And I will say in our job, when we do the reporting, is everyone is presumed innocent.
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether they look guilty or you don't like them. Everyone is criminally presumed innocent, and that's a bedrock part of the system. So in these trials, Donald Trump will get his day in court. But it is really bad evidence when so many of your lawyers are either witnesses, that's in the stolen documents case, indicted or unindicted co-conspirators, that's in multiple cases, or convicted, which is what you see in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I honestly am reminded of 21 Savage, the rapper, who also knows a little bit about the law. And 21 Savage says, how many lawyers you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many done left you out to rot? A lot.
Yeah.
That's been Trump's year.
Yeah. I bet he listens to that song a lot.
You can see some real 21 Savage fans here.
Yeah. One of the scarier things that I feel like, and again, it is that problem with sort of the Trump hose that just sort of sprays all day long, and it's hard to sort of unpack it all. But he is basically threatening to use the military, to weaponize the Justice Department if he wins a re-election, and if Republicans hold Congress. There wouldn't be as many checks on him as one might like. Do you think we should, one, take him at his word? Because there has been reporting that this is his plan to weaponize the Justice Department. And two, how much can we rely on the checks and balances in our government if that's the case?
So, really great questions. I don't know how funny this part of the show will be, right?
Yeah.
We turn to the looming...
Does 21 Savage have a song about that?
Not that I know.
Okay, well...
We turn to the looming authoritarianism. There's two pieces to this. One is, I don't know about you guys, but I get tired of hearing every politician, every election say, this is the most important one, and this time it's existential, and there's a lot of reasons why that becomes like a tired talking point. However, if you have someone, whoever it may be, in this case it's Donald Trump, who literally tried to overthrow democracy instead of leave office peacefully, and that's not a Republican or Democrat thing, that's the first time that's ever happened in our country, period. And now is running to gain power again, and you know that's what they did last time, and people have gone to jail for that. He's presumed innocent legally in all of that. It will be litigated. But many other people have been convicted of sedition, of battery, of attacking the police that day, of storming the Capitol. If that person takes power again, it's not a second term. They're seeking a life term. And so I do think the country has to wake up to that. That's not saying you shouldn't elect Republicans or there's nothing that he's ever done that people might agree with. On that question, it's not a second term. And so we are up against that. And he's very clearly announced the kind of authoritarian stuff he'd do if he gets back into power.
One of your demographics that follows your show. Because your show's been on since 2017. It's very successful. Explain MSNBC moms and how much they love Ari Melber.
So we didn't make up this term, but we'll take it. Shout out to the MSNBC moms.
Shout out. Shout out to MSNBC moms.
The New York Times sort of documented it as a new profile, and these are people who watch MSNBC at night, and they watch Rachel or they watch The Beat, and they kind of sometimes make it a family activity. And the thing that I'll say for real, I don't know, it's not as cool with the kids these days to be super earnest. But something that I actually was like, damn, that like warmed my heart was someone who was in his young 20s told me The Beat was the only show that he could watch with his parent and his 78-year-old grandparent.
There you go.
That they would, on holidays, that was the show they could watch together. Awesome. So to the moms and the parents and everyone out there sharing that, I think it's great. And I do think, I mean, we make a point of having all different perspectives on the show. That doesn't always happen. And so if different people from different ideas and different generations come together, great.
Well, congratulations on that. Congratulations on the show. We're going to let you run downstairs and knock one out.